The other day, Putin was in Volgograd, which was the city formerly known as Stalingrad, and he gave quite an apocalyptic warning. He said that we are facing German tanks again. It's unbelievable, but true. He refers, of course, to the 14 Leopard tanks which are being sent from Germany to defend Kyiv against his invasion of Ukraine. But the fact that he was also speaking at the 80th anniversary of Stalingrad, Volgograd is often called Stalingrad by the Kremlin when it wishes to, the site of 2 million deaths, the first surrender of Nazi troops that arguably led to the ultimate fall of Hitler. In the Russian history books, this is, of course, entirely a result of the USSR. The USSR won the Second World War, according to Russian history books. I dispute this. I've had this conversation with many a Russian student, and sometimes it's got quite heated. And 91,000 Nazi troops were captured at the end of Stalingrad, the bloodiest conflict, arguably, in the war. It was an appalling death toll. But, arguably, it is eclipsed by the death toll inflicted on Ukraine by Stalin during the Holodomor. That's the famine that was created by Stalin's policies between 1932 and 1933, when 5 million Ukrainians died. And Putin goes on to talk about the ideology of fascism, Nazism, in its modern disguise, its modern manifestation, and this creates a direct threat to the security of Russia. Of course, he is speaking to the domestic audience. This is a threat that he has invented, a sort of paper tiger, because Russia itself is not under attack. Russia itself is not under threat. The only thing that is potentially under threat are those states that Russia has illegally annexed, that Putin has illegally annexed, that Putin's Kremlin has illegally annexed, and claims are Russian. Whereas, in fact, of course, we know they are Ukrainian, and they have been in dispute over the last year. But, now there is talk of a new Kremlin initiative with a huge number of recruits being thrown like fodder at the Ukrainian guns. The propaganda which is being fed to Russia is the propaganda that NATO is attacking Russia. It simply isn't true. 14 Leopard tanks, promised from Germany that will not be delivered for quite a long time, is hardly a reenactment of the Second World War. But it suits Putin's rhetoric, and it plays to his domestic audience. We could sort of seize on a poetic device. Fear, fear, fear. Epizeuxis, if I remember correctly. Like words, words, words in Hamlet, or break, break, break in Tennyson. Fear, fear, fear. That is what Putin wants to instill in his domestic audience. Fear, fear, fear. Otherwise summed up as NATO. It's fake, fake, fake.